What's up, crypto fam? Um, Phantom, I'm coming back to look at the market again. It's been a pretty good day overall. We barely broke 40,000 and came back down due to the some resistance that is there. Um, Looks like we came up to 40,300 and came back down. So I'm hoping we continue to test it with some serious volume, and I think we can get through it if the momentum stays this way. One of my indicators is about to flip green on the weekly chart, which is a fairly good sign. It usually comes in before some substantial moves, but it will take a little bit. Looking at the fear and greed index, it's come back down to 26, so it's only dropped a point, which is surprising because the price momentum is moving up. I don't know if it's because we're going into the weekend, possibly, or if it's due to the 40k level giving people a lot of nervousness around that level. So it really could be anything. There's a lot that goes into calculating the fear and greed, but we're still for sure in fear territory, which is kind of expected with everything going on in the world and the price being what it is, and most of crypto kind of all calling for lows to be hit. So yeah, even when we're trying to breach 40k, there are people calling for all-time lows. That this is a kind of like a fake out or a bull trap. I think this is price action following the S&P. To be honest with you, the S&P did well today. Tesla did recovered a lot of its losses yesterday and today. So did a lot of the S&P tech stocks. So I think Bitcoin's kind of right in the back of that. We're still pretty closely coupled. I still think 42 to 43k is going to be a big resistance zone for us. I think that's going to take us longer to chew through than the 40k region, assuming we get the volume. The buying pressure may not be enough to break through these resistances, but time will tell. Be watching. I think a lot of people are also happy to hear that there may be talks between Ukraine and Russia. That talks lead to hopefully peace talks and hopefully the end of the invasion, and Russia doing whatever it thinks Russia thinks it can do whatever it wants at this point. So I noticed this trend today, so I drew it. I haven't posted it anywhere, but it seems that we're still following an uptrend. It seems that we keep hitting this support, and every time, at least in the past that we start to recover some. So I'm hoping this trend line holds. If it breaks, I think I'll be a little bit more nervous. But we're, keep in mind, we're still in a chop zone. So we can chop here for a very uncomfortable amount of time before we see any type of mega moves to the up or downside. The altcoins are getting some relief as well. I posted a chart on Compound today. Compound looks like it's at a pretty good level, where I'm interested in it. Obviously not financial advice, but this looks like it's at a strong support level to me, and if it can flip and stay flipped, Compound went up to over $900 when Bitcoin ran up. So it's almost a 9 times win if it hits its previous all-time high. I think it's found its support level around this zone, so this is something I'll be watching closely. If it does bounce pretty significantly off of this support, and tests this area, gets through it, and uses it as support, I think that's a bullish signal, and I think we can continue to see upward momentum with it. So I'll be watching Compound closely. I obviously own some and hold some H bar. I think H bar will do well if Bitcoin does well. I think we continue to see growth in Engine, Mana, Sand, even Jewel. I think all of these tokens will do well if Bitcoin can keep it together for long enough. But yeah, overall, I was really happy to see that talks may be starting, because I think that's the path to a recovery. I'm hoping. It is my fear that we get enough good news over the next week or so that the markets all start recovering, everything's happy and healthy, and then the Fed comes out and talks about inflation or interest rate hikes, and we tear back down. And when we tear back down from those types of talks, we usually tear down in a pretty significant way. It's kind of like a rug pull for anybody else that's just a regular type of investor or trader. So I'm going to be mindful of that. I haven't forgotten that the Fed is going to come out and speak next month, and there's a lot of fear that interest rates may spike. I'm hoping not, especially with this conflict going on and gas prices soaring and people having a hard time paying their bills. I don't think now's the time for them to spike the interest rates. Obviously, they need to do something, and as far as raising them, but I don't think they need to spike them in any significant manner just yet. I think they need to pump the brakes on that a little bit and let things recover for the everyday citizens. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts of the market. I can go into more altcoins if I get recommendations or suggestions or requests, but at the end of the day, it's going to be determined on how Bitcoin does. I think Bitcoin really needs to reclaim the 40,000 region, and if it holds that, I think we can see some real altcoin growth. So my fingers are crossed. I'm very much on the side of pushing for Bitcoin to prove a lot of crypto Twitter wrong. That was calling for absolute. We'll see 28K. We'll see 20K. That this is just the start of the bear market. The bears are strong. I would love to see all of them proven wrong, because they were all out in force around here, and yeah, so I'm hoping that plays true again. But so as far as news, the only real news that I saw outside of Ukraine and Russia possibly having talks is the Robinhood price of Bitcoin. I don't know if anybody caught it, but yesterday Robinhood had a Bitcoin price that was about $3,000 or $4,000 lower than anywhere else in the market, and of course, everybody came out saying that it's the markets, it's the exchanges pumping or inflating the price of Bitcoin, etc., etc., etc. But it seems like it was on Robinhood that anybody that tried to make a price or a purchase at that price, they're more than likely just going to be open orders that never got filled. That the price it was showing wasn't the actual price of Bitcoin, so anybody that made orders at that market price just never got their orders filled because it was actually much higher on the back end. So none of the actual buys went through. So they came out to say the broader cryptocurrency market saw a considerable recovery over the past hours following yesterday's bloodbath that came in response to Russia invading Ukraine. Bitcoin managed to recover about $4,000 in its value, but it appears that a popular retail trading platform, Robinhood, went through some challenges in this regard. People took to Twitter. This came as a surprise to many. At the same time, Bitcoin is trading above 38,000 on all other cryptocurrency exchanges, painting a gap of roughly 10%. Some even started considering arbitrage opportunities, but the discrepancy was quickly resolved. Robinhood's official support account on Twitter revealed that this issue was simply an incorrect display of price, and that went on for about an hour. The Robinhood app experienced a temporary issue that led to incorrect display price for crypto for an hour. The issue is now resolved. Some customers may have unfilled market orders due to this display issue, and we apologize for inconvenience. So, yeah, anybody thought that they could buy at 35K, move the money over to another exchange and sell it for profit, I think was disappointed. But yeah, it was definitely weird seeing the price on Robinhood so much lower than everywhere else. But yeah, I'm gonna continue watching the markets. I'm gonna continue watching the news. I think it's going to take a shift in momentum of what's going on globally for us to see a real shift in Bitcoin. But you have to keep in mind, even if bad things are happening in the world, it creates opportunity for the acknowledgement and for others to see the benefits of Bitcoin. The Canadian truckers are a good example of that. A lot of them never had money on exchanges or understood what Bitcoin is as a whole, but if the government's freezing their bank accounts and Bitcoin solves that issue and they can see that it returns power to the people, it boasts the power of why Bitcoin's here, and why it's been doing well and why it's been around for 10 years. It's the decentralization of monetary value, and I can't say it enough that everybody wants power to the people, and that's exactly what this does. So even with all the bad things going on in the world, it still shines a light on Bitcoin's benefits in the long run. So even if things turn ugly in the world, things can, Bitcoin can be kind of a shining light in all of it. So I'll be for sure watching the news. I'm hoping that things turn around for Ukraine. It's awful what's happening to the people there. Even the people in Russia are protesting at this point, telling the government to get out of Ukraine. So I'm hoping the start of the end is soon, and we can all get back to complaining about our own local, and Russia just goes back to being a nuisance, but in their own country. They need to keep their hands off of Ukraine attempting to be free. They don't need to be anywhere near there. So I'll be watching the news closely, seeing what happens with the price over the weekend. Weekends tend to be a little bit more bearish, but on the back of the good news that's come out, if we do get hopefully some more promising news of talks continuing or starting to happen, hopefully that reflects positively on Bitcoin's price, and we see that over the weekend shake out. So I'll be watching it closely. But until then, definitely give a follow if you appreciate the content. I'm trying to do it every day. I for sure would take requests on any type of coins that anybody wants me to look at, or do any research or educational videos on anything in the crypto space. I did a video on Decentraland that I think some people found helpful. I'm more of a macro guy, so I very much more interested in buy zones, sell zones over longer lengths of time than I am the quick scalping type of trading. But yeah, hope to see you all over the weekend. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday night. I hope you have a good start to your Saturday, and I'll catch you in the next video. Till then, peace.